Trying to get my lighting straight, but being African American, sometimes you don't show on these calls.
And so is that a real window behind you or is that a background?
That's just our Chicago background. I'm gonna try to turn on a lamp really quick here.
That's it.
See if that improves it, but
because it's so light behind you, like sometimes you know, like when you have the open window behind you, then
okay,
your face.
That's true. Let me see if I can choose another one. Still kind of. Nope.
I think that other one with the blue sky, I think I saw your face best in that one.
Okay.
You had another one with trees?
On it, and I have a lamp on, a light. I don't know it's so dark.
Yeah, like that's pretty good.
Okay. It's just gonna come in backwards, but that's okay. All right.
Well, we've got a couple here, so I'm going to do my duties and then it'll all be yours. Hi, students. My name is Jessica Downing. I'm a high school teacher in Sacramento. Thank you for attending the virtual college exploration. If you need to ask any questions, please use the Q&A button. You can type those at any time. Your camera and microphone are off. This is different than a Zoom call, so you'll be muted and video off the whole time. You're still welcome to sign up for other sessions, just like you did for today. There's a few more tonight and a few more tomorrow. And then all sessions are being recorded and will be available at college2careerfairsconnect.org. It may take about a week until they have all those up. And I will turn you over.
Hey. So I apologize. I will tell you, the students here, I literally have a lamp here and it's not affecting my face. So I'm sorry for being in the shadows, but I'm so happy to see you. My name is Nita, and I'm the West Coast recruiter for the University of Illinois at Chicago. So we have a small group. It may get up to 15, but you guys are open to answer questions. So what I'm going to do is share my screen in a second, and I'm just going to kind of go through UIC, Chicago. Again, you can feel free. I'm going to definitely do a Q&A at the end, but I'll try to go through everything I can and keep it lively with you all, and let me know if you have any questions. So I'll start sharing the screen right now. And again, we'll make sure we keep this lively. So basically, if you've never seen Chicago, I'll show you a better picture after this, but this is Chi-Town, or Chicago as we call it. You'll hear me call the University of Illinois at Chicago UIC, just to kind of save my breath a little, but same thing, UIC, University of Illinois at Chicago, and this is our mascot, Sparky. So if by chance you have never been to Chicago, this is a slightly better view, and I'll show you another one, but we're gonna go over the overview of the University of Illinois Chicago, admissions protocol, paying for college, and then we'll do a Q&A. So we won't keep you all night, and like I said, we will save questions for the end, or feel free to put them on the side for Jessica. So this is Chi-Town, as we call it. So Sears Tower is what it used to be called. People sometimes don't realize we have beaches, lakes, all of this, but UIC sits on about 200 acres. So this is downtown. So if you can just imagine, there are thousands of businesses, from Google headquarters, McDonald's corporate headquarters, Groupon, architectural sources. This is the stock exchange. I used to intern there one summer. So there's so much to do, so many internship opportunities. This is one of our amazing dorms called the Arc. So there's a lot to be seen there. And people think we just have snow, but we actually have 4 seasons. So I live on the West Coast too. I'm from there, but there are certain days where it's actually much warmer there than here. So we'll move on. So this is kind of just my intro, but I'll just kind of talk this out. So again, I was born and bred in Chicago. I've lived on the West Coast for over 4 years now. But I want you guys to feel honest, free. If you're nervous about going away to school, you're wondering, oh my God, I took biology 122, does this transfer in? If you don't know a thing about Chicago and just kind of went on here for curiosity, this is what we hope to answer for you. But overall, you know, I'm sending a big virtual hug to you. And Chicago itself is known for friendly, gregarious people, amazing food. You may gain the freshman 20 instead of 15. And we do have really strong Midwestern values. So as we continue, I'm going to show you the fun part of this, but this is just kind of a map that we showcase to show you kind of where you are, which is what I was just showing you, the lakefront, you know, and some of the activities like the museum, the Shed Aquarium. But Chicago, if you're into theater, Broadway, great food, sports, we have the Bulls, the Bears, the Sox, all of these great teams. There's always something for you to do. If you're a shopper, I know I love to shop, ladies. There's the Chanel and State Street and Michigan Avenue type shopping. So this is the basic map, but we'll go kind of to fun. So in Chicago, coming from Cali, we have two major airports, Midway Airport with Southwest Airlines and others, and also O'Hare, which is international. So you're 45 minutes away from the airport, less than that if you go to Midway from USC. So you're a quick 3 to 4 hour flight home, beaches, 5 sports teams, as I said, theaters, comedy clubs, yummy food. As a USC student, you get what's called a U-Pass, which means you get to travel all across. So when you see like this pink, this red, all these other little lines, these are train lines, bus lines. USC has its own shuttle, etc. And I personally don't recommend bringing a car. You can if you want to, but Google is 2 blocks away from us. The Bulls and the Blackhawks play 2 blocks away. The Magnificent Mile for shopping is about 3 miles away. Navy Pier, running in the lake, Giordano's Pizza. So the Bears over here. So you're kind of all here, and this is all here. So there's so much to do. I'll reiterate, it's a fun town. So USC offers nearly 100 majors, 70 minors. Our top majors right now that I'm seeing coming from the West Coast are STEM, pre-med, pre-nursing. Nursing's always huge. Architecture, business, theater, arts, psychology. We now have a law school connected to us. So a lot of students are coming in for these opportunities. We're a tier 1 research university, and we have internship opportunities galore. So as we continue, again, these are kind of the things we're going to go over, just to remind you: admissions, paying for college, questions and answers. So UIC, I will say COVID, I think LA is one of my favorite cities personally, but I think COVID has stolen a little bit of thunder as far as activities and things that we can all do right now, but there's still a lot of fun to be had. So typically we have every year something called Spark in the Park, and we've had J. Cole, Lupe Fiasco, Childish Gambino, Kendrick Lamar, 21 Pilots. We get really big artists to come in and perform for you guys. So we had to kind of waive that and do it online this year, but that's to be known. I've mentioned Google and McDonald's, and again, some great internship ops, the pass that will take you everywhere. So these are kind of some of the things we discussed. But we do have normally the Taste of Chicago and Lollapalooza Music Fest that most of you have probably heard of. So Taste of Chicago is like a 5-day event where vendors, everything from turkey legs to, you know, shrimp on a stick, they have vendors come in and sell food. There are concerts with like major artists. It's a festival that sometimes draws 1 million people a day. And Lollapalooza, most of you have heard of, it's just like a huge, kind of probably like Coachella is the way I would describe it, but it's in the middle of Lake Michigan or near Lake Michigan. So as we continue, some of you have heard of us, some of you haven't. We have about 30 plus frats and sororities, 400 now student clubs, 200 study abroad opportunities, 86, well, it's actually more than that. So closer to 100 majors now, 71 minors. And then probably our most famous alum will be Justin from This Is Us. So continue on briefly. We've kind of discussed this stuff, but these are some of the shuttle ops, some of our dorm room, just so you kind of get a look for it. And then I was speaking about the food. I couldn't make this up. From calamari to deep dish pizza. You know, you will get a little snow in the winter, but you also have spring, summer, and fall, so it's not always cold. You guys have in Buena Park, California, Portillo's. Nobody seems to know about it in Cali. I would highly advise you get there for the Italian beef and the dipping sauce. It is beyond amazing. But these are some of the things that we denote with Chicago. So all of our students have different backgrounds, college goals, all of you that I'm going to answer questions for are so different. So our goal at UIC, my goal is to help you achieve them. These are kind of some of our bragging points. Best public college, US News and World Report, most transformative, Money Magazine. We have pre-professional goals. So a pre-professional student will be those of you that are coming in pre-med, pre-law, those of you pre-nursing. So we have definitely pre-professional goals. We have 4 hospitals on campus. So we're really, really known for medical programs, etc. And we have upper division programs, bachelor's degree programs. We're a top 10 best value for Wall Street Journal. So these are just some of our little kudos that we get. So again, diversity is so diverse, we don't have numbers for it. And just to kind of explain, you know, you can kind of look at the level of students we have, but 40% are first generation, 33% multilingual with 57 different languages, actually, no ethnic or cultural majority amongst the student body. So we can't make this stuff up. It's very, very diverse, which I love. So we're a premier campus welcoming for LGBTQ students, most diverse, ranked in the top 5 by US News, and excellence in diversity. So I always tell students, just as a side note, college is your time to take a class. Like, you could be the most stoic econ major. I encourage you, take a class like theater or dance or acting. Take something you've never taken in your life, because it's often in those moments and times that you find out your true passion, or you find something that's going to help you in your career. So even if you know that you're focused on pre-med, do a study abroad program if possible in, you know, Timbuktu. Do something that's going to set you apart and help you later. So we're about halfway done here. So we are a top 20 ethnic diverse university, as I said, international students, first generation. And I'm here, that's my whole job, is especially for the West Coast, to bring you guys out to Chicago and bring you to UIC. So we started a class this year, and it'll be better next year once COVID's not there, but it literally was just to acclimate students to other first year students, especially. So, you know, taking a class with 20 people from 20 different places, countries, etc., just to kind of get yourself acclimated to school. So I won't go into these too much because we've kind of discussed them. But again, as far as education and affordability, public college, you know, we have sister colleges in other cities, actually. 4 Seasons, Research University, passionate people. These are some of the things that, as far as my current students that have come over to UIC from Cali, have said that they liked. So again, diversity galore here, just some pictures. And then this is one of our students, or some of our students, in an area called Pilsen, which is a neighborhood in Chicago. And this was actually a project where the students built a garden, and the proceeds went to help with a senior citizens home, kind of helped money-wise to financially support them. So I encourage you, that's what I was just saying a few minutes ago, to do something, even if it's just one project. I went to school in the state of Michigan. I was out of state also. And I did a project in Detroit that just changed my life forever. I think it's why I'm sitting here with you now. So, you know, doing those sorts of projects, they not only transform other lives, they can transform your life. So these are some of the kudos we got for social good, literally social good, Great Cities Commitment. We have students who are into leadership and civic engagement. So 400 student clubs, but there are also opportunities through your classes where you can help join and do social good. So housing, a lot of you guys are like, okay, I'm coming from out of state, you know, where am I going to live? So we have about 8 dorms, but UIC is very rare in that we do not force students to live in the dorms, even freshman year, which is surprising. The dorms, I will tell you, have free laundry. This was one of my favorites. There's a Starbucks in there. Our business honor students run the Starbucks, like, it's amazing. But all the dorms are different for different reasons. And we support you whether or not you live on the dorms or not. So you can commute to campus. If you have a great Aunt Edna who lives on the Gold Coast and she has an extra bedroom and you want to live there, you're welcome to it. If you want to get an apartment with your friends, I can personally email you. My email is admissions@uic.edu. In California, it'll go straight to me, but I can email you some of our outside apartment sources. So you definitely will have a nice place to lay your head. So as far as some of our top programs, again, engineering, education, architecture, design, and the arts. So that's for the dancers, those who want to be music majors, theater. Liberal arts and science is our biggest college. So if you were pre-med, for example, you would be in that one. Business admin, urban planning, public health, applied health science, pharmacy, nursing. So some of these are lower division and some are upper division. So as we end, how to apply. So, okay, Nita, you've been talking about all this, you know, what do I have to do? So for some of you are going to be first year students listening and some will be transfer. So I won't go too deep into this, but I'll kind of explain. So for first year students, these are kind of some application deadlines, February 1st, but honors and honors program will have a November 2nd, early action, I'm sorry, is November 2nd, and honors will be December 1st. So you would apply through the Common App. So most of you probably know about that. There's a $60 application fee or a fee waiver. You don't have to say it aloud on here, but a lot of students, you know, a lot has changed with COVID for a lot of families. So if you need a fee waiver, we are more than welcome to help you. You would just apply for that via the Common App. And then for 2021 fall students, ACT and SAT are optional. So we're kind of looking at personal statement, letters of rec, grade trends, and strength of schedule. What I will say for my transfer students and for my first years in regards to the essay is, you know, so I've gotten a lot of questions even today on, Nita, you know, what if they can't talk to me beforehand and how can I be admitted and how will they know me? I want you, each and every one of you, be yourself on your essay. Make sure you pick an essay that conveys what you can really speak about. When you do have letters of recommendation coming in, don't just pick anybody. So you might say, my Uncle George's friend lived with us across the street when I was 2nd grade and I'll get him to write one. Well, now that you're 17, Uncle George's friend may not know you that well. So especially if it's a program like pre-nursing or pre-med or some of those engineering or STEM programs that are more competitive, make sure you find someone who knows you very well, can speak to the attributes that that major speaks about, and then reread your essays prior to them going out, just to make sure that you haven't made silly errors, or, you know, make sure if you're applying for the University of California and then you're applying for, you know, UIC, don't write UIC with the essay and say, I would love to go to USC, because that might offend the person reading it. So that's just my little 2 cents. So transfer students are a little different. So just to explain the difference, if you were in high school and you took an IB or an AP course, or let's say you took one course through a special class that got you college credit, that would be, you would still be considered a first year student. If you were a transfer student, that's someone who's actually graduated already, but let's say you went to your local community college and took 12 courses, or you attended the University of Timbuktu, you didn't like it, you came back home, but you want to transfer those credits. So in that case, you would do a web app, you would send us your transcripts. And again, I can answer that question or get you guys the info on how to do that. And then again, in your case, you have an app fee or a waiver. So this is kind of what they're going to be looking for, grade point average. There are different levels of transfer students, which is kind of too much to answer right here. But personal statement, coursework, letters of recommendation, nursing especially is one program where there's specific coursework that you have to have taken to get into the program. So I won't bore you with that, but we do have a program called Transferology. So that's a good way to know how your transfer credits will come in. So let's say you took biology 122 through 301 and you want to know, hey, I'm coming to UIC as a pre-med major. How will that come in? Transferology is there to help you. As a big tip to you guys, sometimes I get out-of-state students who say, well, Nita, my school isn't showing on here, or how do I do this? You will get an audit of all grades, even those of you who are undergrad, if you took, you know, college credits, etc., you're going to get an audit. So we're here to help you with that. And then as soon as you start school, you'll have an academic advisor who will route you into classes. So don't worry if you don't know or don't see it on Transferology, just reach out to me and we'll help you. So as we finish, these are some of our transfer deadlines for fall. Springs is October 15th, coming up pretty soon, but you have to pay attention because not all programs accept spring transfers. Nursing is one of our biggest programs that people are vying to get into. It's an RN program. So that deadline is hard set at January 15th. And I would advise you to apply even earlier if you know you want to go in. But those of you who are coming out of high school, keep in mind, you apply to UIC as a pre-nursing student. So nursing is for someone who has 57 credits and sophomore status and up. So that's something I can also explain more later. So just a blank picture, clear your mind. We're almost done. And then these are some of the, just some of the greatest parts of UIC, I would say. We have a $2,500 stipend for students. It's something you have to apply for, but they allow you, even if you're not a science major, they would allow you to do a specific research project with a professor. So we love inspiration, discovery. We encourage you to think on that same line. We have $412 million in research, one of the top 200 funded institutions in the world. So even if you're not a science major, it's an amazing place to be if you have ideas and just are all about innovation and learning. As a matter of fact, some of the COVID, like the JPEGs, the graphics that you see for COVID that were created, some of our students actually created those at USC. So I love that. And then we actually have, like, these are neurons in the back and in the brain. This is what these students are looking at. So we actually have different innovation centers and electronic visualization labs. So we're all about research, and science is very top of mind, but we're also here, even if you're not a science major. Science, I will say, as far as all my grades, was not my forte as a college student, but I still love innovation. So as we end, so many of you are saying, okay, Nita, this looks great, but how am I going to finance this? What do I do? So I'm going to break you off into several groups. I had two friends who their parents actually took their entire salary to pay for their out-of-state education. And I went to a very expensive school, and I was just in awe. I had the type of parent, bless her heart, who told me I had to struggle in school. She was a teacher, and she said, your degree is on you. It's all on you. Good luck to you. So some of you are in the middle where mom and dad don't know much about financial aid, and they're like, look, we're going to give you $10,000 and that's it. So everybody's different, and it's fine. We have to laugh about it, but education and just financing it, it can be confusing, but for me personally, it was the greatest investment I had for myself. So I would say for my out-of-state students, most of you all will be eligible for or apply for the merit tuition scholarship. And that makes tuition out of state is about $27,000, but that's without anything else added into it. But most of my students take advantage of that because it makes tuition actually comparable to what they would pay in-state for some of the USC type schools. So we have departmental scholarships. Your financial aid, admissions really has very little to do with it because it's not our business what you made or what your parents made, but we have a great financial aid department. So before you start school, we don't even have a tuition deposit at USC. We make sure that you have your financial aid advisor, that you've gone through everything, and then it's very clear cut for you. But a lot of my Cali students especially find that it's actually a little less expensive going out of state than they thought it would be, because your in-state schools are a little hard to get into sometimes, and they're very expensive. But this is our school code, which is 001776. And then as we finish, again, this is kind of just some basic info on the FAFSA, which is just opening. Merit tuition is what you really want to look for, but keep in mind, you might be a neuroscience major. That department might have a special scholarship for you. So I always advise students, the earlier, the better to apply. And then my biggest tip that helped me personally when I was your age was I almost did scholarship hunting like a job, because I did have a parent who said, I'm not helping. So I would advise you, try to get as many scholarships as you can before you walk across that stage senior year, because when you do, as far as like those local scholarships or those, club scholarships from your town, wherever you live, if it's a big or small city, usually once you cross the stage, the scholarships shrink up. So try to get as many as you can. These are some other scholarships for Illinois, but again, you'll be eligible for your department scholarships, any financial aid, whether you're FAFSA or whether you're under the RISE Act. Each of you, which is very personal, is under a different parameter, but we have a great financial aid team that we send you to. And then for anyone who is eligible and is accepted into USC, we actually have a scholarship database called SNAP. And I would encourage you before you start to look at that, because those are scholarships just for USC admitted students. So we don't leave you hanging is the point. So for anyone on the team who is an athlete, we're a Division I school. We do not have football, which I like to tell students ahead of time. And then we have so many big sports teams in town. So we have a team that gives out discounted tickets to you all. There's a huge workout facility on campus, whether or not you're an athlete. So we are big on sports and are surrounded by 5 sports teams. We just don't have football, but our basketball team is probably the biggest. And if you need information on getting your info to a specific coach, I can definitely email you that. And so as we close, just some of the fun things I've been talking about again. The museum, we're known for Chicago dogs. They have these sport peppers and they're delicious. I wish I could get my hands on one now. Some of our sports teams. So it's a really good place to be. A friendly, hey, my tire burst at 2 in the morning, where can I go? You, for the most part, could stop and ask somebody, hey, my tire just burst and I don't know what to do. I'm not from here. And they'd probably guide you to a 24-hour shop. So it's a friendly town, which is what I love so much. And then as we close, you know, these are some of the things I spoke about, from Taste of Chicago to the Bean. This is an architectural tour. We have our first openly gay African-American mayor right now. She's been all over the news because she doesn't play. So this is the bridge area. So study abroad, as I briefly mentioned, we have about 200 plus options right now. Due to COVID, we wouldn't dare send students somewhere unsafe. So you do have to have sophomore and positive grade standing, but we hope to reconvene study abroad very soon. And then this is just, I live on the West Coast, so I know I've met a lot of students in general who say, well, my dad can get me in with a warehouse or Amazon's hiring for $17 an hour. So I will say, and this is from my own experience, you know, sometimes that looks great, but I have so many students, especially I live in Nevada, who have told me, you know, when my back broke or I got a little bit older than the age of 29, or, you know, when I hurt myself, I got fired. So keep in mind, you know, those jobs are great, but it's not, you still will earn about $1 million more in your lifetime by having that degree and really going for that power job for the most part. Sometimes, not always, but that's just a reminder. So as we close, I know that most of you provided your info to Strive to the facilitator, I'm sorry, but this is how you would reach me directly: admissions@uic.edu. So as soon as we get your information, we'll start sending you emails. If you need to make a private Zoom appointment, just us on, we can do that. I can make phone calls. I'm always on my email. It's I've been working since 7 o'clock. It's about 12 hours later, so I definitely work for my students. So I'm definitely here if you need me. So I'm going to stop screen sharing, and then I'm going to see what questions have arisen. But thank you so much for your time. So let's see if I have anything on the Q&A. Do you all, I see the 3 of you and a couple more. Do you have any questions for me that you want to ask? So if you don't,
reminder to the students that you can't unmute yourselves, but you can type anything in by hitting that Q&A button.
Thank you. Jessica's been awesome. She's my hero. So let's see what we have. Business, yeah. So that was one of my majors. So it's an amazing business program. Thank you so much for that great question. You have options within business to do business, or there's also an honors business program. So from marketing to international business, they're actually even starting a real estate program. It is an extremely good business program. And keep in mind, and I'm not saying it's a brag, but I had a single mom and I like to make extra money during the summer. So I worked at PricewaterhouseCoopers, the Chicago Stock Exchange. I worked for the government. Being able to graduate, having done an internship, was so powerful on my resume. So literally, there's a Giordano's Pizza and there's our business program, and you guys are right in the hub, 2 blocks away from McDonald's headquarters, maybe 3 or 4 blocks away from Google headquarters. So if you can get in there and make an impression and do an amazing internship, even if you move back to California or wherever you're from post-graduation, you'll be good. So there's honors business, like I said, and there's regular. So the honors business programs, I think I showed you that that huge dorm called the Arc that was sparkly and glassy and all. So our honors business students actually run the Starbucks in that restaurant. So they get different opportunities to intern and, kind of paid internships and a different level of career services. They kind of keep them in cohorts and classes so that they all know each other. So it's a really good program. Any other questions? And it can be silly. Who has the best pizza? How is the beach? Anything you want to ask me, because I actually am from Chicago. So. Okay, perfect. So we got an amazing question about being a registered nurse versus a medical assistant. So what I'm going to say, and I worked before I started at USC, I worked at one of the only nursing colleges in Nevada. So I'm going to tell you this: keep your eyes on the prize when it comes to medical assisting versus registered nurse. So a medical assistant, even my students here, because I've worked with many who are bilingual, the most you can make with that is $12 an hour. So it's not all about money. Medical assisting can be a great pre-start to nursing, but medical assistants usually make a little less. You know, they're the people who may, pick up trays. They actually do probably more than the nurse, but medical assisting is not at the same level. As a nurse, especially a registered nurse, some of them make 35, 40 an hour. Overtime can bring them up to upwards of 60. You probably never have to look for a job with that. I know a lot of medical assistants right now here in Nevada are having trouble finding jobs in COVID because a lot of our dental offices and even medical offices, aren't open as much here due to the virus going around. So as an RN, you have the option of kind of choosing your field. I have two cousins, and that'll be the best example for my young lady who asked this. One of them is very shy, quiet, just low key. Her sister is spicy and likes action. So one of them works at a convalescence home as an RN. They both make really good money, but the one who's an emergency room nurse, she just said, I don't want to work with the same person every day. I like that people come in, somebody could have hacked their hand with a hammer. The next person might've been in a car accident, but she's able to utilize her skills differently. So they both make good money, but the one who's the ER nurse, especially, she's getting her master's now. So I will say, as far as money, totally different process. To be a medical assistant, all you really need for the most part is a GED or a high school diploma. It's a year-long program. They put you out in the field for 6 weeks, and you get to learn, how to, help a patient prop up and how to, massage veins and trays, but it's a much different level. As a nurse, you can work with everyone from a gunshot victim to children who are have cancer, and you can kind of choose if you want that slow lifestyle like my cousin, and also if you want the fast one. So you're looking at probably $12 an hour, which you can kind of gauge, to about 40 an hour. So that, if that answers your question, you can type more, but that's kind of the difference between the two of them. Way more money, way more responsibility. And as a medical assistant, unless you go for your nursing degree or maybe an LPN nursing degree, there's really not much advancement. Any other questions? You are so welcome. And like I said, it could be, I'm not going to keep you guys all night, but it could be a silly question, even if it has to do with, how many dorms, or is the food good, or but the best way to visit us, if you want to write it, is discover.usc.edu. And then again, you can always reach me at admissions@usc.edu. But once we get your information, we'll follow up, and I won't keep you all night since it's only a few of you left, but I appreciate your time so much. So I'm here if you have questions, but if that answered your question, you're fine.
Anything else, students? Nita, I just have to say, I've sat through a lot of presentations. I love that you bring your personality to this. A lot of them feel kind of the same.
Well, you guys are tired. Now, trust me, I'm on Pacific time too. I've been up since 7 this morning. So you have to bring personality, because you guys will probably fall over if I said, I am from the university, and you can't do that. So that's what we're all about. And I don't know how many of these sessions you guys are doing, but just as an FYI, usually the personality of the person presenting kind of represents the college. So just as general information, and I can't see you too, but like, I have curly hair, and I was flown out to this college, and no offense to it, but I'm African-American. They wanted African-American students. But when I say it was Amish acres, it was Amish acres. So, and have Amazon and Walmart delivery. So my first thought was, oh my goodness, how will I get hair care products unless I bring them all, and how will I whatever. So, it's really good. COVID is really tough to travel right now, and I get it, but look at these websites, look at the person speaking to you, Does it resonate with you? Those are some of the things that'll help you, even if you can't physically fly to their campus. So we are genuinely, my department, we work really hard and we're all here for you. So don't be afraid to ask questions. And I wish you the best of luck as you pursue, because this is a big decision. So, you know, you can always transfer, but you know, it's good to kind of get it right the first time if you can. And so I didn't have a lot of help picking schools. So I was out there, I started probably sophomore year with these scholarship books and at the library. So, you know, do what you have to, even if you don't have a family who can help you. Oh, you're so sweet. Yeah, don't make me cry, guys, especially because my eyes are so dry. The end of the night, but we're going to definitely follow up with you and then let us know if you need anything from the heart. And Jessica, I don't see any more questions. Do you?
No, I don't either. So
is Jasmine still on? Oh, Jasmine, if you're still there, in Chicago, favorite place, I'm sorry, she was asking, you know, it really depends because some things are closed right now, but I honestly, like my last 2 months before I decided to move to Nevada, I tried to do everything. Navy Pier is really fun. Restaurants, you know, that big, if you're not afraid of heights as I am, that huge Ferris wheel is there. You know, shopping. It really depends on your vibe. We have theater, we have comedy shows. You might not quite not be 21, but like Second City is a comedy show that's there. They film movies there, they film TV shows. If you're looking for food, I would say Giordano's Pizza and Harold's Chicken are definitely must have. So if you're into food, there's 50 places. Theater, museums, aquariums. So I'm ashamed I didn't get a chance to go to the aquarium before I moved, but the Shed Aquarium is nice. So there's so much to do. I mean, basic stuff like you guys have in Cali, you know, Dave and Buster's, and, you know, I'm trying to think that kind of stuff we have too, but there's just a lot to do, and 400 student clubs. So if you don't know anybody, join a club. People are really friendly. They'll help you. And if I'll wait for any other questions, let's see. And then, yeah, it's a good place to be. So go, if you can go on discover.usc, I'll reiterate, you can kind of take a virtual tour, but hopefully we'll be able to welcome you guys back soon. And Jessica has been so amazing, so I appreciate your help.
Well, I was in Chicago just once, just about 20 years ago, during like around the 4th of July. And so what's the one called, the big festival there, the Taste of Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the places I want to go back to. And I was so surprised. Yeah, you go to the lake and it feels like the ocean beach, and
yes, it's a good little place.
We went to the aquarium. We went and saw the T-Rex.
Okay.
My daughter was just little at that point. We went to the Children's Museum, Navy Pier and all that. So yeah, it's one of these days we'll get back out there.
Okay. Well, ladies, you are welcome to reach me at admissions@UIC or making a Zoom appointment. Once you reach me, I can make an appointment set up with you. And if you have those personal questions that you didn't want to ask online, you're welcome to. But I won't keep you all night. And I thank you so much for your attendance. And it's so nice to virtually meet you.
Night.
All right. Good night. Take care, Jessica. Thank you so much.
You too, Anita. Have a good night.
Bye.